Hello everyone,
Hello again.
and welcome to the review of Anachrony Future Imperfect. And so we just completed a full playthrough. Links down below for the overview and rules overview. For the first two eras of the rules overview, as well as the extended playthrough, as well as a whole bunch of other playthroughs of Anachrony, including Fractures of Time and other playthroughs as well.
Yeah.
A lot of playthroughs. And so let's start with our review. So this expansion comes with 4 modules. We didn't play with one of them, which is Quantum Loops.
Yeah,
I
the
believe.
one with the infinity sign tokens.
Infinity and some cards which you get like an immediate bonus, and then you need to repay them.
Yeah, and they also give you an end game something.
Something or other, yep. But we did play with, let's review them, with buildings which we didn't actually see.
Yeah, which is fine. I think this one
It is.
is one of those, but it was
Yeah, they play
irrelevant.
with a number of power plants that you have. We played with the hypersync module, which allowed us to do extra actions and then repay them for extra victory points. And we played with a council chamber or something of that ilk, which allowed us to build our own endgame conditions.
Ilk?
Ilk.
Elk is the...
Yeah, ilk.
Anywho,
That's it.
So I don't think there's point in talking about arts and components.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same, and it's still great.
Yep.
Still great. Iconography is still great.
Relatively sane amount of board space. Relatively.
Yeah, Anachrony puts...
This is just a card. They could have made it something a lot bigger. They decided to just make it a card, which is very, very good. We appreciate it.
So I have slightly mixed feelings about that,
Okay.
and I'll just
Yeah, go ahead.
let them roll. I mentioned that in our review of what was it?
Fractures of Time.
Fractures of Time, the Stalker expansion, where you blink all over the place with your Protoss army. Anywho, I find Anachrony to be borderline too much in terms of complexity to time spent on the game. I don't like my games too long. After 2.5 hours, I kind of lose interest. So, on the one hand, this expansion does a lot of things correctly. On the other hand, it ups the complexity. And in my opinion, without giving enough benefits. So let's talk about the separate components. This, I like. You get a few extra actions, you get another mechanism to play with. It's not as restrictive because you get really good end-game bonuses, but you have to plan for them. Because you need to have these tokens ahead of time already placed so you can use them. So you get extra actions, you get a few extra bonuses, and the payoff is that the timeline is shorter. You lose an entire age, which is a lot. So nice, like it, I highly recommend you play with it. It also reduces the need to power up in the earlier rounds. Lets you, start your engine running with a bit of debt, which really fits well with the entire theme of Anachrony. So great. Just remember, you have to roll once for majority of warp tiles and another time for majority of, I don't remember, hypersync tiles. Because we didn't do that the first time we played.
Yeah.
So yeah, very nice, recommended. This one, I just find it a bit redundant. I genuinely prefer the cards. The bonuses you get from the actions are nice, but I feel like it bogs down the pace of the game. Because you can't place 2 on the same row, which makes perfect sense. But that means you're building, and then you're counting everyone's boards, and then you're checking who has potential for what, all at the time while looking at the 4 tiles you picked up, 2 of which you keep and 1 of them you place. Like,
Yeah.
It turns into a mush whenever someone goes there. Not a fan. Really not a fan. Maybe if your group are expert Anachrony players and can do the entire cognitive flow quickly, great. Otherwise, I'd rather not play with it. I prefer the cards. What else? Buildings, nice. I mean, I understand why they did that. Power plants, you usually don't have incentive to get most of them unless it's your evacuation condition, because you never need to go that far back.
Yeah.
You're not going to activate all 3 of them in the same turn, which is why the buildings make sense.
And you can always play with them. You don't have to take them out.
Yeah. So that's cute. I would tell other people about it so that they know it might pop up and it might be relevant, and it's a good idea to build power plants.
Yeah.
About these,
which come again as part of this. Yeah.
Yeah, considering the fact that I don't like this, then you know, I'd rather not play with them, but they are harmless and they do go well with this component because these are very restricted. You only have 2 actions unless you go into this area, and these let you pick up tiles as you go. However, they're also really, really competitive, and because they're identical to all players,
you might get screwed over.
You definitely will. Things will not go according to plan a lot of the time, which is fine. You just accept it for what it is.
Okay.
Honey.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is nice.
What's nice about it?
Yeah, it very much resembles the blinking capability, where you get extra mechs or extra actions. It's much simpler than blinking, right?
And it's less random.
It's and so I like this, and I also like the fact that it reduces the eras, right? You get 1 less era, which is I think nice. So I would recommend this one. This one I agree. I mean, well, you know, there is a variant where you could draft at the beginning of the game the victory point cards, so that also sort of helps players not be you know, to feel too restrictive in the sense of, okay, these are the end game conditions and I cannot do anything about it. So even in the base game, there's a variant of where you can draft them so that you could still feel like there's some sort of control over it. And I guess this in more players would even shift the whole thing even more, because people will interact with it a lot more. So I do think, I mean, for what they try to do, I agree that it's good. I think there is a lot of extraneous mechanisms around it, with you know, with the missions. It's a good example. I feel like the missions are not very necessary for this mechanism to work. They could have tried to make the players build it.
You're referring to the mission cards.
Yeah, the mission cards. Yeah. So I think they could have sort of boiled this down, or, you know, taken the essence of letting players dictate what they want to be, what they want the victory points to be, so they don't have to, you know, have all of this other things in play. But that's okay. I mean, it's fine. Again, like you said, if you like played a whole bunch of Anachrony and you want some kind of variation, that it's good. It's not the end of the world, but I don't think that it will play it a lot, if any. And
as opposed to
this, which is fine.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on the module that we did not add?
No, so I think that maybe we'll run another video playthrough, maybe definitely a review of everything Anachrony, and then maybe we'll talk about that there as well. There's a lot of things.
We need a bigger table. We need a bigger house if we're going to cover all the modules.
Yeah, we're not going to play all of them, so we don't need that. But so okay, so that's it for our review. I think overall recommended. Obviously, you need to have played everything. I mean, you need to have played Anachrony a lot, and I think that overall, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to think of, if I were to only purchase one expansion for Anachrony, what would it be?
Well, I don't remember the first one, but I did find that the second one, the Fractured Continuum?
What? Fractures in Time?
Fractures in Time? Wasn't there a Continuum one? Doesn't matter. The one with the blinkers. I did find that some elements in it fixed things that I would have liked to be fixed in the base game. Like you had these tiles with the alternative bonuses.
That's from the base game. Yeah, they all come with this.
Oh, why aren't we playing with it more often? It's cute.
Okay. We'll talk
But
about
they
that.
did add an additional warp.
Yeah.
And
Era. Yeah.
an additional warp era. And they did add a new kind of operative that's a genius. I feel like it added more to the game
It was a bit more substantial, yeah.
than this expansion.
However,
this is a great idea, and I don't mind adding this every time we play because it does not add much complexity.
Yep.
And it does open up the options you have. So, like I said, it's not overall, if you look at it as an expansion and all the modules, not my favorite, but this is great.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you say, honey?
Yeah, I agree. I'm also, I don't know, we'll have to think about it and put it in another video of like how to rank the expansions and modules. I don't know about that, but overall, I'm definitely not sorry that we got this, right?
Oh, of course
it was
not.
a lot of fun.
Yeah. And any excuse to play Anachrony again is good.
Yep. All right, so we hope you enjoyed this extensive video, and we'll see you next time. And tell us in the comments below.
Yeah, which are your favorite modules, which are your favorite expansions, and links to everything. Like links to the universe and the timeline below.
Yeah. All right.
See you next time.
Bye for now.
Bye.